Journey with Judy.
Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people. There's no such thing as a perfect life. So come as you are, broken and scarred. Lift up your heart and be amazed and be changed by a perfect God.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing to journey with Judy this morning. I am Judy Hehr, and it is my absolute privilege. Okay, I came in here crying again this morning. It is my privilege to be your teacher, speaker, host, whatever it is that I am at this stage of the journey, because it calls me to be accountable. It makes me be honest, open, and transparent as a wife, as a mother, as a person of faith. So whether you're getting anything out of this deal or not every Sunday, like, it's always about me if you know me. And I'm so glad, because I'm getting more than I could ever be giving in this 30 minutes every Sunday. So thank you. You are the combined average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. That is why, if you haven't heard this, you've spoken it into the lives of your kid, or you've heard it. You don't get to tell me who I can and can't hang out with. Frenemy, you tell me. That's our topic this morning. And a frenemy, for those of you who are older than me, or as old as me, because I didn't even know what that meant, is a enemy disguised as a friend. A person whose words or actions bring you down, whether intentional or not. And in my house, I don't know if you've heard the expression WWJD. That is sometimes what would Jesus do, but most times it's what would Judy do. We are continuing our discussion this morning. Our discussion means I talk, you listen. I love that. From last week about guardrails, guide rails. But this week, it's going to be specific to friendships. And I thank you for those of you who did respond, saying that you enjoyed that topic and it should be continued. So thank you for your responses. Guardrails, just to do a quick review before we start, are a system designed to keep vehicles from straying into dangerous or off-limit areas. And for us, for our teaching this morning, it's a personal standard of behavior that becomes a matter of conscience. Here's what we know. We know that guardrails need to be placed far enough away from the danger zone that it serves as a preventative item. We can't count on culture to assist us, because we know that culture condones many things and then condemns when we participate in them. So regardless of morally, financially, academically, sexually, professionally, the ceiling in every instance has become the floor. And we gotta raise the bar as people of faith. We have to be able to say, this is as far as I'm willing to go. Doesn't matter about you. This is as far as I am willing to go. Because I want to prevent regrets later. And I can tell you that my prayer consistently for my 4 children is that they are godly as examples, that they have godly examples, and if they don't, and if they're not, they get caught quicker than their mother. So today I want you to envision standing in front of the 5 people you hang out with the most. These are your BFFs, your posse, your group, team, homies, whatever. And say to them, we need to see other people. Would you? Could you? Should you? You tell me, or I'll tell you right after the break. You are listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. Be back in a few. Welcome back. If you're just joining the journey this morning, we are talking about friendships in regards to guardrails, which we know are going to be our personal standards of behavior. You've all heard you are judged by the company you keep. Birds of a feather. Guilty by association. We left envisioning ourselves standing before our 5 best friends because we are the combined average of those 5 people. Picture yourself with those people. You have come to know, love, and trust them. What draws you to that person? It's acceptance. We are attracted to acceptance, and we are repelled by rejection. And here's a principle. It's not my personal opinion. It's not a biblical verse. It's just a principle. Friends have the ability to influence the direction of our lives and determine the quality of our life. And that is what makes them as terrific as they are treacherous. We said last week our greatest regrets could have been avoided if we had guardrails. Our greatest rejoicing has been done, and our greatest regrets have been encountered with our friends, not our enemies. And you know why that is? Is because when we are around our friends and we are feeling this sense of acceptance and love and we trust them, we drop our guard, we become vulnerable, and we are open to influence. Our verse this morning is, walk with the wise and become wise. Because a companion of fools suffers harm. And basically what that verse is saying is really simple. It's saying whoever you're doing life with, you are going to be affected for good or for ill. You will become wiser. And wisdom is contagious. That's the promise. It is a promise that we will be wiser if we walk with the wise. But a companion of fools, this is kind of a subtle thing. And a fool, let's determine, is someone who knows right, knows wrong, and doesn't care. It's just kind of a warning. Whether we actually like or adopt their behavior or their thinking doesn't matter. It's going to say that we will be affected tomorrow by what our friends or companions do today. And we're all intelligent people who know that all of life is connected. And if everything we think and we said and we did was based on knowing that at the core of who we are, we'd probably do life just a bit different. So here's the deal. We're going to go through 5 points today that are going to hopefully help our conscience light up when these 5 things happen in relation to the company we are keeping. And here's what I have to tell you. I never was a good friend. It's only now that I understand the value of friends, because I always was trying to compare myself to what you weren't. And I would surround myself with people who I judged to be less than me so I could feel better than them. And that's not a friendship. Number 1, your conscience should light up if your friends are not moving in the direction that you are. We need space from things that are moving in the opposite direction. Obviously, there will be a collision. Number 2, when you catch yourself being someone you are not, that the you that is you, not the me I want others to see. And I have to tell you that is so rooted in insecurity. We have got to know who we are and whose we are. And I know that we've all been in the situation where somebody in our life says, you act so different around them. And I say at my house when my kids are lowering the bar to levels that are unacceptable, I try to first point out that that's not who you are. You're better than that. And I hear my kids repeating that back to their friends, so I totally dig that. So anyway, how about this one? When you feel the pressure to compromise, we said last week that compromise does not lessen the tension. It weakens our resolve. So here's the deal with that. When we find ourselves considering behavior that was at one point absolutely, unequivocally off limits to us, and now it's on our radar as something we're considering, our conscience needs to light up big time. And I know firsthand that 1,000 no's are still so much less than one yes. Those behaviors that I once was so willing to condemn, within just a few decisions or circumstances that I found myself in, I was no longer condemning them, but I was collaborating to be part of them. Whether that's rooted in insecurity or our desire to be accepted or not wanting to be rejected, I don't know. But if we know who we are and we know whose we are, we never have to compromise. How about when we say, I'll go, but I won't participate? Here's what this verse says about walking with the wise or being a companion of fools. It just says eventually you're going to be affected. It is not necessary that we do what they're doing, but that we're there when they're doing it. Because we never know when what they say or do is going to affect us. Because eventually, a companion of fools suffers harm. You know, I got to tell you that my kids think, they say it all the time, their mom, there's nobody like you. I am the biggest creeper on Facebook. I read all my kids' texts. I read their emails. If you want to friend my kid, you're friending me. And if you want to date my kid, you're dating me. And you know why that is? Because I have a responsibility to try to help my kids understand that there is no greater love than to lay down your life for your friend. And when Jesus stood on a cross with his hands held wide, I truly believe that his message was to every one of us to keep your path this wide. Keep it this wide, because every decision you make can close it and can change your life forever. How about this? When you don't want the people you care about or love the most to find out where you were or who you were with. Like, we've all done that. We've all tried to justify why we are with this person, why we are doing this thing. We create this scenario. And you've heard me say this before. It's your lie. Tell it any way you want. But when the people that you love the most can't know where you are, who you are, and what you're doing, your conscience should just light up immediately. Immediately. And I know that my most addictive behaviors started in the company of my friends. I know the biggest wounds that I ever endured were with people that I thought I could trust, that I loved, and that I knew. Gosh, I just want to walk with the wise. And you've heard me say I've graduated from 2 places, a seminary and a treatment center. And if I had these guardrails in place, if I had known these things, then when I was asked the question at my admission into the treatment center, have your friends changed? I could have said no, because I had guardrails in place. And I wouldn't even have been there if that was the case. So when we're walking with the wise, it means we are not in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people and eventually suffering harm. But we're in the right place with the right people doing the right things. And we are getting wiser. It would be wise for me to take a break. So let's do that. We'll be back in 3. Welcome back. You're listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. And it's going to be a super Sunday, even though we lost an hour, because we are going to move forward in our friendships and evaluate our relationships. And we're going to hope and pray that we have godly ones. And how necessary it is to be intentional about having guardrails, as difficult as they may be, in this area of friendships. And the reason is because they're powerful, because they're dangerous, and because they affect the direction of our lives, and they can determine the quality of our lives. You know, I tell my kids, everybody wants somebody else to lead, and everybody wants to follow. And I know firsthand that when I see people that I know I am looking to lead me, and they lower the bar, you know what hope that gives me? Nothing. So sometimes it's so difficult to be that person that's leading. But when we have grace-based friendships, those are wise ones. We will never regret establishing guardrails. Gosh, we just know that our greatest regrets were not in the company of our enemies, but our friends. Friends who don't value their life, their marriage, their family, their finances, their morality, their reputation, and their academics probably aren't capable of valuing yours. And our guardrail simply says we're going to walk with the wise so we become wise, because that's the promise. And the companion of fools suffers harm. And that's a warning it says at some point, eventually, we will be harmed by the company we keep. But wisdom this morning tells us these 5 things. It says, I need space if you're headed in the other direction. It says, I will not compromise. It says, I know who I am and whose I am, and I am proud of who I'm with and what I am doing. And if I'm wise, I'm simply saying, I go no further than this. And this is just not something we can listen to this morning. The Word of God says that don't just listen to the Word, do what it says. The best thing you can do for your friends is to establish guardrails. And you stay on this side so you can help them when they don't. I can tell you that I don't get invited to every girls' night out, and my man and I, we're not on too many A-lists. But I am so blessed to say that we get to pick up the pieces of so many situations that could have been avoided if guardrails were in place. And how about this? I love you now. I love you when. You're hard to love because you're my friend. And when you're loving someone, you are desiring the highest and best good for that person. And it never requires you to compromise who you are. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. And I'd like to thank my friends this morning, Andy Stanley for our material and intellectual property, and the Cunis Country Auto Group for sponsoring Journey with Judy. Right here on Lake 96.1. We'll be back in 2. Welcome back. You're listening to Journey with Judy. Frenemy, you tell me. A person whose words or actions bring you down, whether intentional or not. We want to walk with the wise and establish some guardrails, so we do not stray into dangerous areas, because we know a companion of fools suffers harm. It is just a matter of time. And saying goodbye is a necessary life skill, one that I need to exercise right now. So thanks for journeying with Judy this morning on Lake 96.1. I am praying that you get some grace-based friendships and you will ditch your frenemies. Find a friend, be a friend, and lead a friend to Christ. And please join me next week. Don't go away. Life Matters is next with Dave and Nancy. Keep it hot, honest, open, and transparent. Peace out.